here from Bursts of Autumn, and today I'm going to be talking to you about one of my latest reads, which is The Hunted by Gabriel Bergmoser. So usually I would have like a nice cozy cup of coffee or tea or green tea, but it is so hot outside now in the UK. I think it's like 26, 27 degrees. I could be wrong, it feels that hot. And yeah, so I'm basically just sticking with my sparkling water and my gigantic 2.5 litre bottle water. Stay hydrated, kids. Let's have a little drink before this. So I haven't yet wrote a blog post about this book because I've literally only recently finished it, and I've got a free day today and I just wanted to get as much recorded as possible. So yeah, I haven't written a blog post, so I'll basically just be going off my mind, my memory and the book right now instead of referring back to a screen. So I'll be looking at you guys more often, or just looking up to the side. Sorry, that's my phone, very inappropriate. So I picked up this book, I think it was from Asda, and I was just really hooked to the front cover. It's very simple. There's something about white covered books that are just really catchy, that it's a very simple cover but it's really effective. So as you can see, it is a white cover with like a red background and blood dripping from it with like a meat hook, and then you've got like a little house here, and then it follows onto the back where you've got a car and like some like a deserted area. And yeah, so basically I have got the blurb on the back, which I'll read to you first before I explain what I think of this book. So Frank owns a service station on a little used highway. His granddaughter Ali is sent to stay with him for the summer, but they don't talk a lot. Simon is a dreamer and an idealist, enthralled to the romance of the open road and desperately in search of something. Maggie is the woman who will bring them together, someone whose own personal journey will visit unimaginable terror on them all. I don't actually think I read that before I read the book, I'm not gonna lie. I basically just finished my last book, I picked this one up and I thought, yep, I'll just read it. And you know what? It's not what I expected. It is quite gory, it's quite detailed. Doesn't spare the detail, put it that way. And yeah, it's a kind of story I've never read before, to be honest. It's different, put it that way. And yeah. So basically you start off with a character called Frank, and as I said in the blurb, he owns a gas station, like a service station in like outback Australia. I was trying to read this in like an Australian accent, which was funny, and then I went to Edinburgh and I came back reading it in like a Scottish accent. I know, I'm stupid. So yeah, basically it starts off pretty, you know, laid back, pretty downbeat, and you saw yourself following Frank in his pretty normal life, and his daughter Ali, again, who I read on the blurb, decides to, well, she doesn't decide, she comes and stays with him because something's going on in her life, and Frank is basically her granddad, and her parents are getting a divorce, so they send her to have some time with Frank in the hopes that she might just need a break from her regular life. So she stays there, and then that's where the story starts. So in this book you've got, let me have a quick skip. So when we look at one of the chapters, it's got then, and then in the next chapter it's got now. So it skips between two separate stories. So we've got Frank's story and Ali's, which is the now, and then we've got the then chapters, which are based around Maggie and Simon, who are the ones I read in the second part of the blurb. And basically it goes between those stories, but the stories then combine later on in the book, so it becomes now all the time, if you know what I mean. A little bit confusing, but yeah. So you got two separate stories that are set literally like, I think, hours apart, and then when they come to combine, it's like, what the fuck. Honestly, I was not expecting it. Bear in mind it's called The Hunted. I didn't really, I don't know, I didn't really think about what the story was going to be about, and it was very, very plain and simple until one point, and everything just changed. The dynamics changed, the atmosphere changed, and it was almost like my heart was racing whilst reading it. It was so realistic, the kind of thing that really could happen, and also made me think, oh my god, what would I do in this situation? Like, sorry, my budgie's like in his cage, he looks like he's falling asleep. Victor, hey, sorry about that, budgie problems. But yeah, so without giving too much away, basically Maggie and Simon meet each other and they end up basically going off the map and finding this random village full of random people. Maggie goes in search for something. Simon just wants something different, something to spruce up his life. He thinks that meeting Maggie is the kind of thing that's going to bring out that adventure in him. But when they get to the village, they realise that it's not okay, and Simon tries to get out and Maggie doesn't want to go with him. Simon, yeah, put it this way, they all meet their fate, and for a lot of them it's not very nice, and the people who Maggie finds herself amongst are not what they say they are, and Maggie ends up coming across something that basically uncovers the whole truth of the village, which is disturbing to say the least. And when the book combines, basically Maggie meets Frank and Ali at his service station, and the rest of the book basically goes from there. It's very detailed, it doesn't spare on the gruesome details either, and I was basically like, oh my god. So yeah, it can get quite juicy in parts, and you know, you start to look at people's past and the kind of people that they are, and then there's random characters brought into it who, you know, you start to sort of realise different personality traits, the people who use fight and flight mode in a very different sense, people who are willing to rat out others to serve themselves. And yeah, it's a very good book in my opinion. I really enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend it to other people, because it's just the kind of thing that, it's a simple read, and it's good for those who enjoy gruesome gore, and yeah, I wouldn't say it's horror, but it is pretty grim in parts. So I don't really know what else to say about this book, other than what I've just said. It pulls you in, it's gripping. It's got quite a slow start, but the build-up actually works really nicely. You get a lot of ideas about the background, where they are, each character's life, and there are a lot of characters in it as well, but maybe some that you don't really come to know that well, but you know them enough for them to play like a significant part. It's really cool how the writer, Gabriel, has basically tied in the stories of these people to make it this kind of book, and it's really clever how he's taken the then and now and combined that so that it becomes one thing. So yes, it's really, really cool, to be honest, and I definitely found faith in Frank even when he thought he was completely losing everything. Like, he found himself, and yeah, it's quite a refreshing story in terms of certain characters, but it's really sad in other parts of it, because some characters really aren't very nice, or they're really nice and unfortunately, yeah. So I know this has probably been a bit of a rubbish review, but I've read another book since this one, and I think that maybe I should have I should have done this book review maybe before I read the other book because it's not as fresh in my mind. I would probably say I give this a 4-star review out of 5. I think that it's a good read. It is an easy read, which I think is positive. It is not too long, but it's a really nice length. I love the cover. I think the author's done a great job, and I think that it's a very clever story as well. So thank you so much for watching. If you've liked this, give it a thumbs up and maybe comment down below. Let me know if you've read this book, and if you haven't, if you would like to read this book after this review. I've also got reviews up on my blog, my Goodreads, my NetGalley, and also on social media as well. If you'd like to have a chat, feel free to message me on my social media, and if you'd like to stick around and watch more videos, you can subscribe and hit the bell icon, which will give you notifications about my upcoming videos. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a lovely day, week, month, year, life in general. Thanks guys, stay safe and stay wonderful.